Hi, I am Lucifer Raz, and today I will present the study entitled Collaborative Curriculum Revision for 21st Century Competencies, Preparing Learners for Uncertain Futures Through Digital Education Policy. Um, this paper was written by me together with three more authors, Maria Elizabeth Pianconcini de Almeida, Fernanda de Pisol, and Regina Célia Brotti Gavassa. Um, About the global educational context, we are living in a period of profound technological and educational transformation. Artificial intelligence, digital culture, and new educational policies are leading education systems around the world to revise their curricula in order to incorporate digital competencies and broader 21st century literacies, including um, critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, problem solving, media literacy, and responsible participation. However, curriculum revision is not simply about updating content. Its greatest challenge is preserving a curriculum's pedagogical identity while responding to new societal demands. Uh, About the curriculum revision, in São Paulo, this challenge became especially relevant after the publication of the BNCC Computing Complement document in 2022, which required the revision of the São Paulo City Curriculum for Technologies for Learning, originally published in 2017. This curriculum serves one of the largest public school systems in Latin America, with more than 1 million students, of whom approximately 437,000 are enrolled in elementary education, distributed across more than 600 public schools and supported by around 1,000 digital education uh, orienting teachers. The revision of the São Paulo City curriculum sought to preserve the pedagogical principles that have guided the curriculum since its first edition, including constructionism, the learning spiral, the web curriculum, and computational thinking. Together, those perspectives understand digital technologies as mediators of inquiry, collaboration, creativity, authorship, and meaningful learning. This study starts from the assumption that curriculum is not created only by specialists nor implemented simply through regulations. It's continuously interpreted, appropriated, and transformed by educators through its practice in classroom. From this perspective, we propose understanding curriculum revision as a process of formative collaborative governance in which curriculum development and professional learning occur simultaneously. This led us to the central research question. How can formative collaborative governance preserve a curriculum's pedagogical identity while simultaneously strengthening the professional learning of those responsible for its practice in classroom? Uh, let's talk about the methodology and the governance architecture. To answer our research question, we conducted a qualitative documentary and analytical interpretative study focusing on the revision of São Paulo City Curriculum for Technologies for Learning. Our objective was not only to examine the changes introduced in the curriculum, but also to understand how the revision process itself contributed to participants' professional learning. The study was based on the triangulation of multiple sources of evidence, including both versions of the curriculum, official documents, workshop records, collaborative materials, and documents produced during the public consultation process. The revision followed a collaborative governance process involving a working group of 36 professionals, including representatives from the 13 regional education offices of São Paulo City, digital education orienting teachers, and one school principal. Students also contributed through an online survey, and in the final stage, teachers and the broader school community participated through a public consultation. And they also counted on the formative support of free digital curriculum specialists, web curriculum specialists. The process comprised collaborative workshops, technical review, specialists review, approval by the Municipal Council of Education of São Paulo, public consultation and incorporation of the contributions in the final curriculum. As shown in this diagram, curriculum revision was conceived as a collaborative and iterative process rather than a sequence of isolated technical procedures. Okay. Beyond describing the revision process, our study sought to understand how collaboration actually occurred. Through the workshops, theoretical perspectives were continuously discussed in light of nearly a decade of curriculum implementation experience accumulated by many of the participants. Several members had also contributed to the original 2017 curriculum, including the specialists, the web curriculum specialists, bringing practical evidence about its practice in classroom, the challenges they encountered, and the adaptations developed over time. During this process, participants engaged in cycles of active listening, shared reflection, qualified dialogue, collective meaning making, appropriation of theoretical foundations, professional learning, implementation experiences, and new reflections. This interconnected process constitute what we define as formative collaborative governance. In this model, curriculum revision and professional learning occur simultaneously. While participants collaboratively reconstruct the curriculum, they also deepen their understanding of its pedagogical foundation and strengthen their capacity to implement it across the school system. This formative dimension became the central focus of our analysis. Our analysis reviewed three interconnected dimensions that explain how collaborative curriculum revision contributed not only to curriculum improvement, but also to participants' professional learning. The first dimension concerns the curriculum itself. The revision successfully preserved the pedagogical identity established in the 2017 curriculum while integrating the competencies introduced by BNCC computing complement. This process strengthened and updated them in response to contemporary educational challenges. The second dimension concerns governance. The collaborative process created opportunities for active listening, dialogue, shared reflection, and collective meaning making. Curriculum revision became a shared construction process in which different professional perspectives contributed to more consistent educational decisions. And the third dimension concerns professional learning. Through the revision process, participants reconstruct their understanding of the curriculum, deepen their pedagogical knowledge, and strengthen their capacity to implement the revised curriculum. They strengthen their capacity to review their practice in classroom and increase them to implement the revised curriculum in their own educational context. Taken together, these three dimensions led to one central discovered. The curriculum changed. The participants changed too. Curriculum revision became simultaneously a process of curriculum development and professional learning. Uh, about the main contribution, this finding represents the main contribution of our study. Due to all contexts, we proposed the concept of formative collaborative governance, in which collective curriculum development and professional learning occur together simultaneously. As illustrated in this model, two reconstruction process occur at the same time. On one hand, the curriculum is collectively uh, reviewed, discussed, and refined until a revised version is produced. On the other hand, the professionals um, involved also change. Through reflection, dialogue, and collaborative work, they reconstruct their own understanding of the curriculum and strengthen their capacity of implementation. This dual reconstruction process demonstrates that curriculum revision does not only transform educational documents, it also transforms the educators responsible for bringing those documents to life in schools. Uh, about the conclusions, I would like to conclude by returning to the research questions that guided this study. How can curriculum revision preserve pedagogical identity while simultaneously strengthening the professional learning of those responsible for its practice in classroom? Our findings suggest that this is possible when curriculum revision is understood not as purely technical task, but as a collaborative and formative process. Through formative collaborative governance, curriculum development and professional learning become mutually reinforcing process. While educators collaboratively revise the curriculum, they also deepen their understanding of its pedagogical principles and strengthen their capacity to implement them in practice. This perspective moves curriculum revision um, beyond document production. It becomes a strategy for educational change that simultaneously transforms curriculum and the professionals responsible for bringing it to life. Ultimately, the central contribution of this study is the proposition of formative collaborative governance um, as a framework for curriculum revision that integrates collaborative decision making with continuous professional learning. If we want curriculum reforms to produce meaningful educational change, we need to invest not only in the quality of curriculum documents, but also in the collaborative process through which educators collectively interpret, reconstruct, and appropriate those curricula. Because ultimately, curricula does not transform education when they are revised. They transform education when educators collectively appropriate them and convert them into meaningful learning experiences. Thank you very, very much for this opportunity.